Why do Arhats have to hurry up to leave the world after attainment? Nguyen Thuy Linh asked the Tao, the teacher has shown me the truth so that I can go on the right path. But unfortunately, even the Buddha or an Arhat cannot avoid creating causes, cannot avoid killing. But please have mercy and explain to me. As you said, the Arhats who create causes will have to pay the consequences. Is it true that before entering nirvana, they must pay all the consequences before they can enter nirvana, and their bodies still have to suffer because they have to pay off the remaining karma before they can enter nirvana, if they accidentally create causes, for example, killing or causing hatred towards non-Buddhists? Reply. 1. First of all, you must realize that the human body is inherently dirty mud. The saliva in our mouth tastes sweet. But the saliva that comes out of our mouth smells unbearably foul. Even phlegm feels disgusting and we spit it out immediately. Therefore, when they attain arahantship, they immediately feel that there is no longer any connection between themselves and their physical body. They feel disgusted and want to leave immediately. Therefore, arahants, they realize that if they no longer have a connection with the world, they will quickly stop breathing and return their bodies to the world. 2. When they attain enlightenment, they have paid off their worldly debts. Because practicing Buddhism is to end worldly debt, not to pay off debt and then become a monk. If you pay off debt and then become a monk, then after death you will still have debt. Once they know their fate is over, they will leave immediately, because they are afraid that if they stay without helping the world, they will incur new karmic debts. Then, we are still attached to the body, and it will be difficult to leave the world. So we should leave quickly to finish it, to make it easier for children to understand. After graduating, all students want to leave school and not come back. Only a few students linger to take care of necessary personal matters. B. For example, you are living in a magnificent villa, with servants and attendants, and you are extremely happy. But then, one day you realize that you are a slave to material things. This villa is a prison that locks up your life. You are living like honey that kills flies. At that time, I decided to give up and become a monk to find the way to attain the truth. It was like Mrs. Daudala, the Buddha's wife. When the Buddha preached the Dharma to her, she became enlightened and immediately gave up her luxurious and noble palace to become a monk. At that time, she realized that the palace was like a prison, and the power within the palace was just a pile of stinking excrement. It was best for her to leave immediately. That was it. Why do people think that arahants have no more affinity with worldly people? Because the true Buddha Dharma is too strange, worldly people have not yet accepted it. At the same time, worldly people are still intoxicated and immersed in the bait of fame and profit, intoxicated in worldly sexual pleasures. Besides, scientific progress serves humanity, satisfying it in every aspect. Now, practitioners practice with 2 feet in 2 boats running in opposite directions. They want the path and are still passionate about life. So how can we guide them to practice? It's not that practitioners don't want to practice. But how to practice? The mind wants to practice, but the heart is full of worldly attachments, not to mention becoming a monk. Consciously, we know that going to university is to change our lives, but people are absorbed in eating, sleeping, and indulging in sex. How can we go to university? So, what is the point of an arahant staying in this world? If he cannot help, then he must leave. The same is true in the real world. Without students, what is the point of a professor staying in school? He must go out and find a place where there are students, right? 3. There are arahants who still linger because they still have affinity with living beings. Master Thong Lak stayed because there were few living beings. Because he knew that the fate of living beings was too thin, he could not help them. Practitioners stood on 2 legs, 2 boats, were still greedy for religion and still confused about life, so how could they practice? But, why did he stay? Towards the Buddha, he showed boundless respect. Therefore, he stayed to re-establish the Tathagata's true Dharma, which had been buried and submerged by Mahayana for more than 2,500 years. B. For Venerable Thich Minh Chau, to express gratitude to Venerable Minh Chau. Thanks to the Nikaya Sutras, Venerable Thong Lak read the 4 foundations of mindfulness practice, which suited his characteristics. He diligently practiced according to the Buddha's teachings for 6 months and attained arahantship. At that time, he realized that if he did not stay to clearly explain the original teachings of the Buddha in the sutras, then the great efforts of Master Minh Chau would become a waste. The Nikaya Sutras would forever remain in a glass cabinet. Because Master Minh Chau translated the sutras in a language of suffering and defilement. If the practitioner understands the words through school, it will be abstract and lost in the forest of ignorance and superstition. To understand the Buddha's teachings, one must understand them through practice, that is, understand them through non-outflow, without suffering, then one will know clearly and practice the Buddha's teachings correctly. Now, Master Thong Lak has clearly explained the original teachings of the Buddha. Thanks to that, practitioners can read and understand the Nikaya Sutras more easily, making the Nikaya Sutras more valuable, helping practitioners who want to find the truth to open up and investigate. However, upon hearing the news that Master Thong Lak had attained arahantship, the Mahayana religious thugs immediately did not allow the press, media, or television to broadcast it to the public. Therefore, for nearly 40 years, Master Thong Lak transmitted the true Buddha Dharma, but the people did not know anything. And they did not allow the printing of the Nikaya Sutras anymore. C. For the common people. Because of Mahayana indoctrination and poisoning, the common people living in the forest of ignorance and superstition have become addicted. The common people take the false for the real. It is impossible to teach the true Dharma to them, but they immediately accept it and do not believe it is the true teachings of the Buddha, abused. Therefore, he decided to train at least one arahant to prove that his teachings were in accordance with the Buddha's teachings. Like the Buddha had to train an arahant so that the truth of the 4 noble truths could be passed down forever in the world, but, unfortunately for humanity, and especially for Vietnamese Buddhists, the Mahayana religious thugs know this clearly. If Master Thong Lak were to train an arahant, the true Dharma would shine brightly and Mahayana would disappear, immediately. So they had to destroy it. They sent people to disrupt the Chan Nu monastery, causing constant turmoil, making it impossible for any monks or nuns to practice in peace. From then on, the Chan Nu monastery was divided into 2 areas. Gate number 1 was managed by the youngest sister Dieu Quang and gate number 2 was managed by Sister Trang. They constantly pressured and secretly poisoned Master Thong Lak, forcing Master Thong Lak to leave before he could create an arahant. As soon as Master Thong Lak left this world, they immediately edited Master Thong Lak's scriptures, distorting and misleading, making it impossible for innocent people to know the true Dharma. At the same time, Monk Chan Quang immediately brought his followers to occupy gate number 1, beat drums, ring bells, knock wooden fish, chant sutras and shave the head of the youngest sister Dieu Quang. The world is funny, the youngest sister Dieu Quang is the elder sister of the lecherous monk Chan Quang, but she turned into Chan Quang's disciple? This proves that Mahayana has decided to attack and destroy the true Buddha Dharma just like in the time of Buddha. When Buddha left the world, 6 evil religions in India gathered together to sweep Buddhism out of the country. More than 100 years later, there was no trace of Buddhism left in India, causing the Indian people of the following generations to know nothing about Buddhism. Thanks to this, many foreign monks and nuns came to India to trace the place where Buddha preached, to clarify the history of Buddhism. Fortunately, at that time, the tourism industry was developing. Therefore, the heretics in India happily accepted to let Buddhism be re-established. In addition, Buddhism was transformed into the Mahayana heresy, worshipping religious authority, praying, chanting, bowing, and begging Amitabha and Maitreya, who were all in the same boat as them, so they happily leave it alone, in order to help the government gain financial benefits from tourists. Buddhism is no longer the true religion, making them threatened like before. The place where Buddha preached the Dharma was built by Vietnamese monks and nuns from all over the world together to build an international pagoda village, which is very beautiful and has become a tourist center in India, helping this place to develop and prosper continuously. Unfortunately, in Vietnam, if the Vietnamese government were smart, on the one hand helping Buddhism develop, on the other hand strongly developing the tourism industry, how rich and powerful the Vietnamese people would be. Because now, many people have understood, they really want to find the true Dharma. They have doubted and no longer believe in the nonsense of theocracy. They have realized that theocracy is just a political form, hiding in religion. They don't speak up, doesn't mean they don't know. If they knew that true Buddhism appeared in Vietnam, then clearly the wave of foreigners would rush in, and our homeland would have no place for tourists to set foot, right? For the Master, what he says is the truth, without any vague illusions or deceitful talk, because the language of the Master is pure, that is, truth, saying it as it is and exactly as it is. If the government does not stop and let the media, television, and newspapers spread the news that the elder is re-establishing the Tathagata's true Dharma, then Trang Bang, Tay Ninh will no longer have a place for Buddhists from all over Vietnam to seek the path, right? 4. If you practice diligently and progress towards attainment, you will clearly understand the Buddha's teaching that obtaining a human body is difficult. Now I cherish my body very much. I was born as a human being to practice and attain enlightenment. And from then on, I show my gratitude to Master Thong Lac for saving me and all the monks, nuns, Vietnamese Buddhists and humanity. So do I. To show my gratitude to Master Thong Lac for saving the depraved life of Ronald Truong, a whore, a liar, a fraud, a swindler, a vile, a shameless man. Therefore, I went online to clearly explain the teachings of Master Thong Lac to the weak Buddhists who are not yet able to receive the teachings of Master Thong Lac, so that we can all turn towards the true Buddha Dharma and enjoy the belief in self-conquering. Now my work is done. I must say goodbye. Before leaving, I have a few words for the beloved Buddhists who love and respect Master Thong Lac. 1. Mahayana has decided and revealed its true face, opposing the true Buddha Dharma for their own survival. That is natural, inevitable. Therefore, I call on Buddhists who have awakened and understood the value of the true Buddha Dharma, to be determined not to let the true Buddha Dharma be buried by Mahayana again. Then Buddhists must unite and strongly bring the Buddhist scriptures of Master Thong Lac to friends, the more the better, so that we will have enough strength to preserve the true Buddha Dharma for future generations. Buddhists should know that our people are still poor, very few people have and know how to use computers to go online. Especially the elderly are ignorant, therefore, Buddhists should print out each of Master Thong Lac's lectures and pass them on to other Buddhists so that they can learn the true Dharma. Thanks to that, the true Dharma will forever be passed down among the people. 2. Buddhists must know that, to have Arhats, there must be real monks. To have real monks, there must be a true Buddhist environment. To have a true Buddhist environment, there must be many people who turn to true Buddhist Dharma. Thanks to the large number of Buddhists turning to true Buddhist Dharma, there is a favorable environment for holy monks and nuns to appear and practice to attain enlightenment. Thanks to the monks and nuns who practice and attain enlightenment, it is the driving force that motivates Buddhists to firmly believe in their practice, to be able to enter the holy lineage of practice with the belief of self-victory. It's easy to understand, if we live in a society, in an environment of evil religion, then it's natural that evil monks and nuns will run rampant, right? Therefore, Buddhists should print out the Dharma talks that we like, then spread them to our friends to attract the masses to turn to the true Dharma. On the internet, very few people know about it. Because there are very few rich people, not enough to promote the true Dharma as desired. This is the Buddhists' way of creating conditions and great blessings for the Vietnamese people to have the opportunity to inherit the true Buddha Dharma. Once there are many people who turn to the true Dharma, many Arhats will appear to help practitioners to attain enlightenment. Right now, even if the practitioner knows the true Dharma, he is not ready to practice. The practitioner is still deluded by life. How can he practice if he stands on two boats with 2 feet, right? So what is the purpose of Arhat lingering in this world? The best thing for Buddhists is to practice the 6 basic dharmas taught by Master Tan Tien, to become familiar with the Buddha's teachings and wait for the opportunity to come.